She just broke a WNBA record that even Sue Bird couldn't touch in 19 seasons, and her own coaching staff couldn't even fake a smile about it. Stick around because by the end of this video I'm going to show you the exact moment the cameras caught the Indiana Fever coaching staff exposing what's really going on behind closed doors, and once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. Look, if you made it this far, you already know this isn't just a story about box scores. This is about respect. It's about a young player doing everything right, breaking records that took legends 19 seasons to reach, and still having to fight for people around her to simply acknowledge it. That hits different, and honestly it's why I make these videos. If this broke down something for you today, if it made you see this season a little differently, do me a real favor and hit subscribe. It genuinely means everything to this channel. Every single subscriber tells me this kind of honest, deep dive analysis is worth making, and it helps this small channel keep growing so we can keep giving these stories the attention they actually deserve. So if you're not subscribed to WNBA Analysis yet, please take 2 seconds and join the family right now. I promise you won't regret it. Hit that bell too so you never miss the next breakdown. Welcome back to WNBA Analysis. Today we're diving into the tape and then we're pulling up the highlight reel from Caitlin Clark's latest big week. Watch closely because she's being forced to clap for Caitlin again, and Brianna Stewart is already looking suspect. Let's roll the clip. We got an Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Applause, cheering. We got an Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Cheering and applause. Now watch that body language carefully. That reaction on the sideline tells you everything you need to know about what's really happening inside the Indiana Fever organization right now. That's not celebration. That's not genuine excitement for a teammate's achievement. That looks a lot more like forced compliance, and the comment section caught it immediately. Because what we're witnessing here isn't just about one Player of the Week award. This is about a deeper divide inside the Fever organization over who actually deserves to be the face of this franchise. And that tension is becoming harder and harder to hide. Caitlin Clark just won her 4th Eastern Conference Player of the Week award of the season, for Week 10. And the case for it is not close. 77 points across 3 games. 25 points per game average. 27 total assists, the most in the entire league that week. 9.0 assists per game, nobody else was even in range. On July 28th against Seattle, she dropped 32 points with 7 assists. Her 9th career 30-plus point game, just one shy of tying franchise legend Tamika Catchings for second most in team history. Then, just days later, she recorded her 4th career triple-double. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. That gives her the 3rd most triple-doubles in WNBA history, as a rookie. Not a 5-year vet. A rookie. Caitlin Clark has done it yet again, winning an additional Player of the Week after the historic triple-double. The team even rattled off a 5-game winning streak before dropping one to the Minnesota Lynx. But one thing has been consistent all year. After the All-Star break, Caitlin Clark has been on an absolute tear. Here's what makes this whole situation so revealing. The Fever didn't hand Clark this award in a vacuum. Her own teammate, Kelsey Mitchell, put up 91 points that same week. That's the single highest scoring output by any player in the WNBA over that stretch. 91 points. That's 20 more than Aya Wilson, who came in second with 71. Kelsey Mitchell absolutely went off, and the Eastern Conference still gave the award to Clark. Which is exactly why some fans are starting to ask questions. I think the plan for the Indiana Fever is that they want Kelsey Mitchell to be the MVP. They're feeding her the ball. They're feeding her the points. It's clear to me they want Kelsey Mitchell to be the MVP. Let me know if I'm tripping because I don't think I'm tripping. Not at all. Let's actually examine that claim instead of just repeating it. Over the past month there has been a noticeable shift in how the Fever run their offense. Mitchell's usage rate has climbed. She's taking more shots per game, more of the offense is being funneled through her hands in isolation situations. Meanwhile, the comment section hasn't forgotten another detail from earlier this season. Analysts ranked Caitlin Clark as the 11th best point guard in the entire league. 11th. Not top 10. Not top 5. 11th, in a 12-team league. At the time, that ranking looked like an outrageous, clickbait-driven hot take. Now, with a full season of data behind it, it looks even more absurd. Clark currently leads all rookies in points, assists, three-pointers made, and Player of the Week honors. She's on pace to break multiple rookie records. She's 3rd in the entire league, not just among rookies, among every single player, in assists per game. She's recording triple-doubles at a rate that puts her in the same conversation as some of the greatest to ever play the game. And yet there are people inside the basketball media world, and apparently inside her own organization, who seem determined to minimize what she's doing. What? Part of it is simple resistance to hype. When a player enters the league with the fanfare Clark did, back-to-back national championships, the most prolific scoring career in NCAA history, there's an instinct in some corners of media and among veterans to say, let's see her do it at this level first. Fair enough. She's done it. She's proven it. And still, somehow the goalposts keep moving. Let's give these performances the moment they deserve. Against Seattle on July 28, Clark scored 32 points on efficient shooting from all three levels. She wasn't just scoring, she was running the offense, facilitating, making the right read possession after possession. Several of her 7 assists that night ended up on SportsCenter highlight reels. That performance gave her 9 career 30-point games, tying her for second in Fever franchise history, one behind Tamika Catchings, one of the greatest players to ever wear the jersey. Think about that for a second. Catchings played 13 seasons in Indiana, won a championship, made 10 All-Star teams and is a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Clark has played 29 games. The trajectory here is absurd. Then came the Portland game on July 31st. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, her 4th career triple-double in WNBA history. Only a handful of players have ever recorded more than 4 triple-doubles across an entire career. Clark has 4 before the All-Star break of her rookie season. That's the 3rd most triple-doubles in league history, trailing only players who had multiple seasons to rack them up. And she's doing this while drawing the primary focus of every opposing defense, face-guarded well beyond the three-point line, absorbing contact that doesn't always get called, all under the weight of being the most scrutinized rookie in WNBA history. Finally, in the loss to Minnesota, she still posted 19 points and 10 assists, her 27th career double-double and her 25th career points-assists double-double specifically. That puts her just 3 away from Sue Bird's total for 3rd most in WNBA history. Sue Bird played 19 seasons. Clark is 29 games into her first. At this pace, she passes Bird's mark before the regular season even ends. That's not just impressive. That's historic. Now let's talk about something else the internet caught, because it says a lot about how differently narratives get treated depending on who's involved. Allowing me to express this full-circle moment from playing with the Barbie dolls as a little girl to having my own, wearing my signature shoes, and getting to put that doll in little girls' hands. In one interview, Angel Reese talks about how meaningful it is to have a Barbie made in her image, specifically because she didn't have dolls that looked like her growing up, and she wanted young girls who look like her to finally see themselves represented. That's a genuinely powerful message. But in a separate interview, Reese says she didn't play with Barbies growing up because they didn't look like her, which is why the partnership matters now. So which is it? Did she play with Barbies and wish they looked like her, or did she avoid them entirely because they didn't? Those are 2 different stories, and the comment section noticed immediately. To be clear, this isn't some massive scandal. People misremember details about their own childhood all the time, and people tell slightly different versions of the same story depending on the audience. But it does point to a bigger pattern. Certain narratives get accepted at face value without much scrutiny, while other players, Clark in particular, get every single word dissected and fact-checked in real time. When Clark wins Player of the Week for the 4th time, it somehow gets framed as controversial, like she didn't really earn it, like Kelsey Mitchell got robbed. When Reese has a strong week, it's celebrated as proof the rookie class is deep, which is true, but the framing is noticeably different. One player's success gets treated as inevitable and deserved. The other gets treated as debatable. That double standard isn't something Reese created, but it exists, and it shapes how fans and media perceive both of these players. Strip away all the storylines for a second and look at the raw production. During Week 10, Clark averaged 25 points per game, the 5th highest scoring average in the league that week. Solid but not the top scorer. Her 27 assists, though, led the entire WNBA, 9 per game and nobody else was close. That's elite, offense-transforming playmaking. And she shot 53% from the field over that stretch. Proof she wasn't just chucking shots to pad a stat line, she was efficient, taking good looks and converting. Kelsey Mitchell had the highest point total of the week at 91. Aya Wilson was second with 71. Clark's 77 points put her 3rd. So on pure scoring volume, Mitchell has the edge, no argument there. But basketball isn't just about points, it's about overall impact. Factor in the assists, the efficiency, the triple-double, and the case for Clark's Player of the Week becomes clear. She didn't just score, she orchestrated. She made everyone around her better. She filled the stat sheet everywhere it counts. During that 5-game winning streak, Clark was the engine. The offense ran through her. She set up Mitchell for open looks, found Aaliyah Boston in the post, and created fast break chances off her own rebounding and outlet passing. That's exactly the kind of player who deserves Player of the Week recognition. Not because of hype, but because of measurable, undeniable impact on winning basketball. And yet, when the award was announced, the reaction from inside the organization looked tepid at best. That tells you something about the internal dynamics. When your own coaching staff looks visibly uncomfortable celebrating your best player's achievement, when the internet immediately picks up on the awkwardness, when fans start openly speculating about an organizational agenda, that's not just a basketball problem anymore. That's a culture problem, and it needs to get addressed before it starts affecting what happens on the court. So here's where things stand. Caitlin Clark has now won Player of the Week 4 times in her rookie season. She's on pace to break multiple WNBA records. She's putting up numbers that place her in the same historical company as some of the greatest to ever play. She's the single biggest draw in women's basketball right now, driving ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales to levels the league hasn't seen in years. And yet, there's a segment of the basketball world, including, it seems, some people inside her own organization, who appear committed to downplaying her impact. Why does that matter? Because it affects how we evaluate talent, how awards get distributed, and ultimately how championship rosters get built. If the Fever are genuinely trying to manage Clark's role in order to boost Mitchell's MVP case or her next contract leverage, that's a catastrophic strategic mistake. You don't suppress your best player to make someone else feel valued. You maximize your best player's impact and let the rising tide lift everyone else with her. Think about the Golden State Warriors. They didn't limit Stephen Curry's usage just to make sure Klay Thompson got his shots. They let Curry be Curry, and everyone benefited, including Thompson, who became a multiple-time All-Star playing right alongside the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. Kelsey Mitchell is having a great season. She's a legitimately talented scorer, a real second option on a playoff-caliber team, and absolutely someone the Fever should want to re-sign. But she's not Caitlin Clark. She doesn't have Clark's playmaking. She doesn't have Clark's court vision. She doesn't command the same defensive gravity the moment she crosses half court. And pretending otherwise, or quietly structuring the offense to inflate one player's numbers at the other's expense, is exactly how a franchise wastes a generational talent instead of building around one. Emotional subscribe seat. Look, if you made it this far, you already know this isn't just a story about box scores. This is about respect. It's about a young player doing everything right, breaking records that took legends 19 seasons to reach, and still having to fight for people around her to simply acknowledge it. That hits different, and honestly it's why I make these videos. If this broke down something for you today, if it made you see this season a little differently, do me a real favor and hit subscribe. It genuinely means everything to this channel. Every single subscriber tells me this kind of honest, deep dive analysis is worth making, and it helps this small channel keep growing so we can keep giving these stories the attention they actually deserve. So if you're not subscribed to WNBA Analysis yet, please take 2 seconds and join the family right now. I promise you won't regret it. Hit that bell too so you never miss the next breakdown. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.